What up?
What's up?
How you doing? Got a lot of music in the background.
Yeah, you want me to go ahead and turn that
I
off?
didn't know if you forgot or not.
Well, let me let's go ahead and shut that down.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Hey, it's been a bit of a week. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not been bad. It's not been bad. It's just, health issues, things like that. But things are looking up, so I'm not going to complain. So,
yeah. I just want to let you know that I can barely hear you.
how about now?
No, it sounded like you're about 45 feet away.
How about now?
Oh, that's a little better.
How
All
about
right,
now?
now
That
we can
gooder?
hear you a little bit.
All right. All right. So, anyways, yeah, just it's been one of those weeks. You know, finally got all of my medications in finally, so um, I'm not like in bad back pain, but it's still not good. You know what I mean? But
Right.
we're gonna get through this, man. I'm gonna keep my chin up, keep charging forward. I'm not gonna give up, man. Not
Oh,
dead. I can't quit.
it's we always tell people, to never give up, and that
Gotta
means
live
that
by it.
includes us too.
Gotta
So
live by it, man.
absolutely, man.
Gotta live by it. So,
Absolutely. It's been
so
a it's been a kind of an interesting couple of days. I had a good conversation with Dr. Emily um, yesterday.
okay.
She is the veterinarian. She's also on the board for one of the medical board for Zalise, and um, it looks like we'll be able to get her on the show August 8th.
Oh, how exciting!
Yep.
I can't wait.
So yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool having her on, because when we talk about the science, and when we talk about how Zalise and everything works with the body, we I only know what I know in dumbed
Our
down
terms.
terms. Yeah.
Right, right.
Um. So she's real busy, and she's been real busy. She gave me some updates on the Patriot program, and some other things, but she is got it on her calendar to be on our show August 8th. So that's going to be really
Fantastic.
cool. We get to actually
Pick her brain a bit.
pick her brain. If anybody out there is listening in, ask questions. And these she's one of those, because she is a veterinarian and she uses on animals. So if you have an animal that needs um, some medical assistance with pain or whatever, like I used on my dogs, she's the perfect person, because she uses on her customers.
Right.
So, but yeah, she's been real busy. But so that was really good news. Still waiting on parts. Some quick race update. We're still waiting on parts for the car. But I've learned something in this time, that when you have everything you need and you can build it in your shop, and you do your own work or whatever, you really don't have to have any patience, because you can just get right down to it. You can start working on it and building, and what have you not. But
Sure.
this has really taught me a lot of patience, so that you can have perfection. And I have been taught, um, this has taught me a very valuable lesson about loyalty, right? I'm very
Hmm.
loyal to my equipment. It's all I got. It's all we have in the shop. But uh, having someone else do it, for the first time, that in my career, this is the first time anybody's built anything for me. Um, it's taught me to let go, and know that
Okay.
it's okay for other people to help. It's okay for you know um, a better, more professional, more knowledgeable set of eyes help you become successful. So we're still waiting on parts, and yesterday I found myself coming full circle in my life. Right, we talked about it earlier today. Um, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm gonna wait to blast that out when I get it here. But
Right.
I think I could finally say after everything that I've been through, like I told you, we've been together for almost 20
what,
how many
20,
years?
let's see,
99, 2000,
25.
25 years. And there's always one thing that you were able to do that I wasn't able to do. And I always told you that one day.
Oh,
And that day has come here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited about that. Feeling
yeah. I'm
good,
happy
back in the
for you
gym.
too, man.
And so things are looking up over here.
Way good, way good, way good. Well, as I was telling you earlier, Doc's telling me, what was it L1 through L5 all the way, including S1, is messed up in my back. That's what they're telling me.
Mhm.
So hopefully, because they're recommending me to go to pain management, and maybe pain management can get me squared away. I can function, and
Yeah.
get back to work. I I don't know if you've noticed, but the last 3 or 4 episodes we've done together, I've been sitting right here in bed.
Mhm.
you know,
Sure.
and
Sure.
it's getting rough. Mentally it's getting rough because I'm supposed to be able to support. That's my job as a man. I'm supposed to support, and
Mhm.
I'm not able to do that right now. And it's really just it's a real mind mind meld. We'll call it that.
Sure.
You know what I
You
want
know,
to say. I just don't want to say that because it's not very professional. But
I,
um, but on the top side of things, on the good side of things, Riptide and Shooter Lube. I'm a new dealer for them.
wow.
Yeah.
Good
So
stuff, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Good stuff.
So
And
it'll be cool, man. And because I don't want to be held down to just one product, but Riptide is more of like your solvents and clean, like almost like a CLP.
sure.
But the Shooter Lube, that's from what I understand, that's supposed to be some jam up stuff. So we're gonna find out.
Nice. Having and what's really cool that you're reaching out to all those for what you do in guns and everything. Having markability is one thing, but you're expanding your avenues for veterans and people to reach out as a point of contact. You see companies, and it's almost like Amazon, right? Amazon is a one-stop shop for almost anything you want to buy.
Right.
And I feel that's kind of what you've done with Gunners. Once we get get all the media platform put together
Right.
here in the near
Right.
future, it's almost like you're doing the same thing. You do triggers, you do sights, you do rails, you do uh, stippling.
Lights,
You do
everything.
so. But
Yeah.
you also have a line to different manufacturers where there is a preference.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So,
And actually, I spoke with Killer Innovations, and I've spoke with Strike Industries.
Mhm.
Um, they're ready for me to jump on, but it's just that initial order that they want. They
the
want, like,
investment.
one of
Yeah.
them wants 2,500, another one wants 1,500.
Yeah.
It's like right now I'm just not there. They got great products, and that's why I want to get them on board. But um, I guess great products, you got to have great money too. So
Yeah.
and I'm not sweating it because I know I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to make it happen.
Mhm.
So it's not if, it's when. You know what I mean?
And
That's the thing. It's just when.
something in the racing world, it's there is you can do the same thing. Performance Bodies, which is
Oh, right on.
they're from Cedar Falls, Iowa. I was born like a golf ball hit from
Yeah, yeah.
where the factory's at, and you to be a dealer for Performance Body, it's a $10,000 commitment,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because they the way they get their noses and stuff manufactured and brought to them, VP. If you wanted to be a VP dealer, to get the dealer discount, you got to buy $3,000 worth of fuel, which is a pallet and a half, depending on what fuel you buy. So it's kind of the same thing. What I like about the guns is that it's not that expensive, and the stuff kind of lasts longer. I'm not going to lie. I'm a dealer I'm a dealer in the sense for Valco wheels, and those wheels are $560 a piece for the elite feedlot, and you can wreck it. I know. I saw me do it. A brand new one got stuffed, and guess what? It's trash because you can't. But these are the things that I like about weapons is that once you kind of do what you do to the weapons and what you're going to do for people to the weapons, you can't revert it back in the sense to a point. So they're always going to have it unless it breaks, and then you just replace it. But I think that's a cool deal for you, man.
Yeah, that's one thing I always do too. And I know I'm not the only gunsmith that does it, but whenever somebody says, well, hey, I want a new trigger shoe, or I want a new barrel, or I want new connectors or whatever, I always bag it up and label the bag and give them back their old parts, so that way in case they do, because and I know if I wanted to, we'll just say, for instance, like my Glock 17. That's to me, that's just my range gun. That's just for me to go have a blast with. I mean, that's all tricked out, and it's not something that I would, carry every day.
Right.
But if I ever wanted to sell it, you best believe all them new parts and everything that I'd done to that gun, I'm putting everything back to stock the way it was, and then I'll sell it.
Yeah.
Now if they want all those parts, that's fine. You can have all those parts, but you're going to get a stock gun first. You know what I mean? To me, that's just the way it should be. You get your parts back, and that's just the way it is.
I'm glad you said that, because I have this dream, which I hope in the near future I can make a reality. But I have this dream to get that 50 cal GAI
the slide,
GI
the slide in the
rail, which is And the cool thing about something like that is that if I don't want to use my 50 cal, I just put the 10 mil rail back on, and the weapon's safe. So that kind of thing that you do, and the way it can revert, and you give back the pieces, like you gave me all my trigger stuff from original, just in case I sell this gun and get a new one or what have you not, I can take the pieces with me, because they're pretty interchangeable. But yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
Well, that's just like I said, some people don't care about it, and some people are very meticulous about that. So just to end it all, I just make sure here's your parts, and they're all labeled in there, or I'll put a, if it's just like a connector or something, I'll just put it in a zip bag or whatever. But if it's like barrel, I'll try to tag it, put a tag on it so each part is individually tagged, and it knows what it came from, serial number, everything like that. So it helps. It helps with my peace of mind, especially. And I know my customers will be well taken care of that way. So.
Sure. Today's topic, we had talked about this, and we have always talked about control, and we've talked about, grain power and rounds. And
sure.
I'm going to go back to what happened. And again, it's not a political thing. It's more of, America and our safety, what happened, our safety, and what happened Saturday with President Trump. If that can happen there, it can happen anywhere, right? It can happen to you and me. It can happen, anytime that we're out, right? So
I agree. We never know what's going to happen.
We never know what's going to happen. And I say that to say, I think tonight's topic is very, very important. When you brought it up, I thought it was very important, because in situations like that, had the right people been around that, right, that were conceal carry, maybe,
Sure.
what have you not. Um, I think more people would have gotten involved before. I'm going to make the assumption. I think something could have happened way prior to that. We already hear on the news, that law enforcement had interacted with them already, and blah 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 blah.
Right.
But
Right.
here in the state of Texas,
Different ball game.
it's a different ball game. I truly believe that outside the perimeter, right, a true law-abiding, gun-carrying citizen probably would have taken action.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Before,
Lord, yeah.
So
absolutely.
So, yeah. So I say that to let's talk about power and control.
Yeah.
In
yeah.
these situations, I
Yeah,
carry
well,
10 mil.
The thing of it is, okay, a lot of what the God dang, this strap is like making my shoulder itch. A lot of it is when I say power and control. Okay, now my better half, okay, very 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 petite woman. Okay, now she could probably go out and pick up like a like a 25 or something like that and shoot and be pretty damn accurate with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now pretty sure she's not going to go pick up my my Glock 20 and go to the range and shoot that as good as she could, a smaller caliber weapon.
Right.
Action somewhere. Are we still there? Okay.
There you go.
Instead of shooting like a 230 grain 45 caliber, like I like to shoot. I like those bullets that are big as boulders and as slow as molasses, because I know them things will knock the mess out of something pretty hard. You know what I mean? That's what I prefer. Okay. Now, I shoot well with a 230 grain bullet. I can shoot pretty good with it. Okay. Now, we'll pick up my 19, my Glock 19. Okay. Um, picking up my 19 and shooting like a 100 grain bullet compared to 124 grain bullet. I like to shoot 124 grain gold dots. That's what I like to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Or something along that level. But I like the grainage of 124. Again, a lot of more kinetic energy to hit with. You know what I mean? So when it hits something, it's more okay. Best way to explain it is you have a toothpick and a baseball bat. Okay, I can take
Sure.
that toothpick and like that. That's a light bullet. I can swing that thing all day long. If I take that baseball bat, boom, one time, you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing. That's how I always try to compare it. Okay, now if you can shoot, like a 230 grain 45 caliber all day long, and you can group, like group get tight shot groups with it, by all means, then you have the power and the control that you need. Okay. Yep. Now there's other ways of doing it. Now we'll just say she wants to shoot that 45 caliber bullet. She's dead set on a 45 caliber bullet. Okay, cool. So you're set on 45 caliber bullet, then let's say, 100, we'll just say 180, it was 180, 185 grain bullet, mm-hmm. I think, for 45. That's going to take a lot of the felt recoil out. Now, it's not going to take a tremendous amount, but it will take some of that and gain you more control. There's other things you could do. You could put like one of them Packmeyer kind of rubbery grips. You can do that to kind of reduce some of the recoil. Okay, you're still going to get that same power. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the big thing is, and let's just call it what it is. The big key to success is the bullet and the gun combination that you shoot best with. Okay. You might like that 45 caliber bullet, but maybe that 45 caliber is a little too much. You
Yeah.
know, look at that 9 millimeter. Okay, a lot of advantages to a 9 millimeter. You know, I shoot 124 grains my 19, and even my Glock 45, I shoot the 124 grain gold dots. Or is that 125, 104, 125? Anyway, but and I can group with that thing great all day long. You know, so
Yeah.
I stick with it. Okay, now if it's somebody that's really petite, maybe something like 38 38 special, maybe, you know, necessarily wouldn't be with the semi-auto. And even some semi-autos kind of kick kind of hard,
Sure.
because plus P's. Okay, now do you really need a plus P? Nah, not really. Okay, unless it's something that you can control it, and that's the power you're searching for. Then by all means, if you can control it, by all means, shoot what you shoot best with. You know what I mean?
I
But
think I think some of
so
it also has to do about your what you touched on it, but what you're using it for, and how
sure,
close
exactly.
how close. And we teach it in jujitsu. You have your distance. We react differently to however far or however close somebody is to
Sure.
us. We react just a little bit different in our technique, and it's kind of the same way in guns. Yeah, I carry a 10 mil, but I like the punch of it,
Sure.
the girth of it. But another thing too is I also want to be able to accurately reach out and touch somebody. And where a 45 and a 40, they don't have the distance accuracy that a 10 mil does, but I can come down on the powder, right?
Mhm.
And if the person's closer to me, like if I decide that I want a happy medium, right? Say my vision is going and I can only see so far out, even with glasses or whatever, I might have to back down the powder. That way, if someone gets real close, there's not as much collateral on the other side of that person. So there's things in there that you have to,
There's a lot of factors. There's a
yeah,
lot of factors. I mean, is this going to be is this going to be? I'm trying to charge my phone and talk at the same time. Sorry. Um, I mean, the biggest thing is, is this going to be, uh, for home defense? Is this going to be for, concealed carry? What's it going to be? I mean, and I'll be 120,000% honest with you. In my God's honest opinion, right hand to the man. The best to me, the best home protection around you'll ever buy, 12 gauge.
yeah,
Absolutely, all day long.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
even in that aspect, you got to look at, are you talking like a self defense round? Are you talking like a turkey load? Are you talking bird shot? I mean, what are you shooting? What are you me all day long? I'll use turkey loads all day long,
Yeah. And
all
the
day
thing
long,
is
double I.
the thing is too is who else in the house is going to shoot. Now, my girlfriend's 130 pounds. You give her a 12 gauge, I don't care what wadding you put in it.
She gonna feel it.
Well, I mean, the bullet might not go very far, or the wad won't go very far because she's in the other direction because she's so light to handle it. But she's got her little 43,
Oh,
and
love that little gun too. That's a great
so
gun.
for her, that's enough just to pelt somebody, and if she's accurate with it, she can do enough damage because it's
Oh
close
yeah.
range. You know,
If I'm not mistaken, do you remember? Oh, crap! What it was in Wisconsin, I think it was, or somewhere up north. There was a mall shooting, and a young man was concealed carrying and took the shooter out,
how was it
and he was
recent?
like 45 yards away from him
Was
in
it
the
recent?
mall. And here, yeah, this year,
Huh.
within the yeah, and shooting a Glock 43.
So I mean,
Great
and
gun, man.
that's another thing too. Like, you can get a 200 grain 9 mil round, and
Oh yeah,
it'll. I mean,
that's got a
it'll
punch.
put it down there. You know,
Won't go very
especially if you
far, but
use
it'll punch.
yeah, and especially if you use the like we have target rounds, right? Range rounds, and then I currently have one magazine of range rounds, and the other ones are with self defense rounds. And I think that's something that's kind of what we need to kind of talk about too. I want to throw out there real quick is ball over self defense, right? Ball over hollow point, because we talk about in the world of archery, we talk about the size of the cavity, right? And normally the broadhead is you the bigger the fin or the more twist that you have, the more damage you can get. But when you talk about crossbows, they have actually some that are actually six bladed, but they're triangulated where there's six blades on it, and it's an inch and a half in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same concept also with your rounds. You know, there are some people in this world that are large enough, and I'm not going to say whether it's obesity or muscular or whatever. There's some people that are large enough that a 9 mil you might need more than one or two to, if you're not very good at accuracy.
Well, not only that, but imagine, and we've seen this in the last, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 10 years.
Mhm.
People, what's that? What was that stuff? Bath salt or something like that. And these people were going ballistic like zombies and eating people, right?
Yeah,
They said that even the cops said that 9 millimeter just blah 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 blah
yeah,
blah blah.
mm-mm.
Hardly did anything. Guy
Yep.
just kept on doing it, and then finally they finally took him out. He took enough rounds and it was enough. But um, yeah, somebody on drugs, man. I mean,
PCP is the worst.
shoot him in the head.
PCP. Yeah, I mean, we that is one of the things, and we talk about it weapons, but that's one of the big things that we talk about, that I talk about in jiu-jitsu, especially with our art being as violent as it is.
Sure.
We don't have time to mess around with somebody. So when in our art, we actually are pinpointed. Everything we do has a purpose. The vagus
Sure.
nerve shuts the body down. This does that. This does that. And you have to, for the vitals, whether you're shooting somebody or you're in a self-defense with your hand situation, the vitals have to be a stop and drop. They have to be a right now.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have people that are on drugs. If you have someone that's on alcohol, you see those guys get tased and it don't phase them. You could pepper spray some of these guys and they'll lick it and keep on going.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, if you're going to conceal carry, and this is just my opinion, and I'm still relatively new to it because I actually went out in public just to get used to carrying this elephant gun that I carry around. You really have to have that happy medium of how far do you want someone, or how close do you want someone to get to you before you actually they're too close to do any damage, right? Because if you get too close and then it's a through and through, and if you got bad aim, then all you're going to do is just upset them and send them to the hospital. You have to, those are the things that you have to take into account. So self-defense rounds in any of your weapons that you carry, open up that cavity just a little bit, right? Get some knockdown where if the bullet stops, it's going to take stuff with it when it starts caving in,
Yeah. Well, that's it, because you're going to get a lot of cavitation and things like that as the bullet enters and passes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, and people always ask me, well, I'm always scared if it'll go through. I'm center mass.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Center mass. There's ribs, lungs, spine, bones, more bones. The more bones you hit, the better off you're going to be.
Yes.
As far as pass through, will be minimized,
Yep.
greatly. And I don't want to sound like I'm a violent person or anything like that, because I'm really not. But if I was worried about, and I don't know if I should say it or not, but if I was worried so much about somebody coming at me that I couldn't stop, you know, you got two places you're going to be able to shoot them that's going to stop them. You know what I mean? And if you don't have legs, you can't move. You can't come after me no more.
That's true. Chop
Take
the
their
tree
hips
down.
out, shoot them right in the hips. You know, or and if you're really in some states, the cops will even tell you, unalive that guy, and that way you don't got to worry about it.
You said something interesting too about center mass, and that's what we teach all the time. When I went to the police academy at center mass, that was back in the day when it wasn't really heard of assailants or robber, people that are going to commit burglaries or carjackings or whatever. That was before the day of you having to worry if they have body armor on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something else that I myself am going to eliminate that possibility that if someone is coming towards me, and if I am, I have a laser on mine. So if my laser is where it's at, that's where it's going to hit, right? My thing is I want to say we have to get out of the mentality of thinking that the only place to stop someone is in the chest, right? Sometimes resetting the computer is probably, you don't know what they have on underneath, right? You don't know if they got body, especially in jiu-jitsu. If I'm go to hit somebody and I don't know what's underneath them and I hit body armor, especially they got a plate in there, I'm going to do damage to myself, right? So don't think that you can't think that the first one is going to take them down. In jiu-jitsu, we think of threes. We think the third. By the time we get to the third thing, it should be done. Whatever it is that we're doing. And again, if they're not stopping, walk the tree. So just especially with self-defense rounds, you just never know because they don't have the piercing power to go through body armor.
No,
right?
They did because your self-defense rounds are more like your jacketed hollow points, things like that. Or even some revolvers have like the semi jacketed hollow point where it's only jacketed up so far and then it's lead from there forward.
Right.
It really, and I'll tell you the same thing. Research. When it comes to your ammo, do your research. Go. What I try to tell folks, when you're buying ammunition, buy you say, you got to, we'll just say 9mm. That's like the most popular. I would say, buy a few boxes. Maybe like box of 20, and a box of 20. Do 100 round, 115 round and 124 grains per round, and see which ones you shoot better with.
Yeah.
Once you figure that part out, then you can start looking at your home defense rounds or your concealed carry round, whatever you want to call it, your defense rounds. Okay. And again, like I said, I like the gold dots. Gold dots are readily available, proven. Law enforcement uses them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say, it's pretty good stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And Spear's not a one of those fly by night companies either. They're, they've been around for a long time. A lot of your big professional shooters, that even like your distance shooters shoot Spear.
Right.
Well, I'll say this: they shoot Spear projectiles. Their loads are usually hand loads, but
Right.
For even a factory load, I love Spear. Spear's always been good. Hornady's another great one. Because they make like your critical defense stuff like that. They're really good home defense rounds. Federal Hydra Shock's another great one.
Hydra Shock.
Those are probably your three popular ones. Yeah, the Hydra Shocks are sweet, man. I love them.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about
when I had my Kimbers. That's what I shot through my Kimbers.
Yeah, you just got to be smart, and that's not just with your hand weapons. That it also is long barrel.
Oh
It's
yeah, absolutely.
if you
And
if
the thing of it is, you'll notice it more in a rifle than you will a handgun because
yes,
well, I'll say this in distance, you'll
in
notice
distance
it.
you will.
You'll
When I was
notice
at
it.
the police academy, one of the more fun uh, classes was combat shotgun, right? And
Yeah.
um, how to speed load with your hand because you can't you speed load at the time we were doing speed loading, um, uh, and they use slugs. Like if you see shotguns come out, if the police or the SWAT team are out and they got the shotguns out, they're using slugs, and them slugs have got some grain behind them. And
Yeah, they do.
it was when I remember back when I went through the police academy and we were doing the testing on, and we had to do it on paper, obviously, and we were doing slugs. Um, when they say that you should only need two, that's exactly what they mean. Because I had never shot a slug shotgun. It's 12 gauge, and holy cow! I mean, I thought my 10 mil in six,
Wake
seven
up.
rounds was impressive, right? Putting a big gap in there because of the size of the
Sure.
round. I mean, you're splitting targets, So you just, but do you need a slug when your home is only 40 feet long, right?
Sure.
So, because I
If you
mean,
can control it.
I personally don't want to take out the front cap off my RV just because someone decided to break in, you know.
Right.
But that's things even in so even in long weapon we have to think about that too.
Yep. 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 And it's like, even like because I mean, I love the 5.56. That's a great platform. 5.56, 223, great platform. Um, and I'm super familiar with it. I've shot probably just as much 223 and 5.56 as I have, 9 mil and 45. I've shot a lot of
Right.
them, you know. Uh, but I'm still in the process of building my AR because I want to build it the way I want to build it, and I'm not going to cut corners. I want it to be just a sick puppy. That's all I want. I just want it to be. I want it to
Sure.
be a tack driver. You know what I mean? That's what I want. Because eventually, I want to go out and shoot some pigs with it. So
I mean, believe it or not, the AR is actually a great hunting.
it
It's an
is
M4.
absolutely a wonderful hunting weapon.
It's an M4. That's all it is. In the army, we call them M4s, right?
Right. It's basically a sporting rifle that shoots semi-auto, just like a Mini 14, Mini 30,
Yeah.
Ruger 1022. There's a couple, older Winchesters, and even some of the newer, Savage make. It's the same thing as a pistol, except it's a long barrel. That's it.
A lot of people, and I want to touch on that. A lot of people not complain. You see a lot of the news of they want to outlaw ARs and they want to AR is an assault weapon that you have no place on the streets, or you don't need to be. Why do you need to use an AR to go hunting? And I mean, you hear it all the time, right?
Yeah.
And unless you've been in the military, you really don't understand an M16 or an M4, which would be the AR-15 platform, right? You really don't understand it. And if you take your 30-06 or you take your 30-30 or what have your long rifle for hunting, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cost of that round for those weapons is more than the performance is. I mean, it's more cost wise to run those weapons just for the cost and accuracy than it is to run an AR system, because an AR round of 5.56 travels. I mean, it's a very accurate round,
Sure.
and it's got a lot of inertia behind it, and it's very, very accurate. And the rounds don't cost nowhere near what some of these other rounds cost for these hunting rifles.
Yeah.
And an AR, after a certain point, that round falls, right? So, but it's good, 300 yards. about,
Oh
that's
yeah,
about.
you get it. Yeah, I mean, obviously when you shoot a bullet, especially out of a long gun, it's like think about when a football player throws a football. He throws it and he's thrown to that guy, 80 yards down. He throws it up. It goes up in the air. It arcs. It hits a high point, and then it starts to drop. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the same thing with a bullet, except the arc is not, as quick like this. And it's going to be real, you know what I mean? But it's the same thing. Same thing. Same
it's the
thing.
same thing.
And like it said, in the 5.56, 223, it's not a real heavy bullet. It's basically like a 22, like a 22 caliber, but just bigger,
Yeah,
bigger charge behind it, obviously.
and the
Um,
weapon doesn't have kick. I think they're very user friendly when it
sure.
comes to using them. I mean, the M4 over the M16, they're the same thing. It's one just has a collapsible stock, right?
Shorter barrel too, yeah.
Right, and a little bit
Because
shorter
you have
barrel.
one's obviously a carbine and one's not.
Right. The-
Or
If you hit,
no, they're both considered carbine, except one's got a really short barrel.
yeah, the M4 was more. The M4 was designed for short building, clearing,
Kicking indoors and
kicking
stuff, yeah.
indoors, and whatever. Because swinging around at M16 is, you know,
Not that easy
but
in that situation.
right. But the M4, you know, it's not. There are hunting rifles that are 10 times more deadly than an AR.
Lord, yeah.
I mean, like if you talk about a Mauser, right? Or if you talk about, I mean, or if you talk about a 10 mil long rifle,
A
right?
338 Lapua.
But we don't. But it's not a big deal to outlaw, because like the M1 Garand, right? That
Oh,
was a cartridge fed. I'm gonna tell you because I was on drill team in high school and that's a 14-pound weapon and it is big. But you know what?
love
When you
them.
put a cartridge in it, that's 5 rounds of all sorts of hell coming at you.
That's
And
it.
they still have them. But the AR, because it's semi-automatic, is a big deal. But who uses it? Okay, let me say this: what right-minded person's going to waste
There you go.
ammo on putting it on burst when you're hunting or when you're self-defense? Because
Well,
it's ridiculous how they they
and
put
that's
this
the
out there.
thing. And that's the thing. As a civilian, you can't even have bursts.
Mm-mm.
Unless
Can't.
you have a license that costs you a ton of money.
Yep.
Then you can have it.
Yep.
But
I don't think a 15
practicality, no.
burst. Yeah, I don't think the AR has burst mode on it, right? It doesn't. So it's, I mean,
It's just semi-auto. It's either bang 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 bang, or it's on safe. That's it.
right. And it's funny too, they talk about, the caliber 5.56. My 10 mil round, right?
It's like two or three of those.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the big deal, but for hunting, self-defense, AR for self-defense might be a little overkill because of the velocity, in a house
I
or
agree.
whatever.
I agree.
But if you got some distance between you and want to reach out accurately, yes, absolutely.
Now here's the thing: if I really wanted a gun, a long gun or a rifle, whatever you want to call it, for accuracy,
Mhm.
I'm going 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
like AT&T. Yeah, bang.
yeah,
So I'll call y'all up, talk to you for a couple days. Is that bullet hit yet? Okay. Blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. That's
But
like one of those bullets.
affordability too, right?
Oh
AR
yeah.
platform is AR platform. The platform is not that expensive, but everything it can
It
climb.
can be.
It can
Oh,
climb
it
very
can be.
quickly. Yeah. So,
You start talking optics and stuff like that.
oh,
Whoa. Whoa.
well,
Yeah.
crossbows
You could
can get
easily
up there.
spend, 10 grand on optics.
They
Easily.
Not gonna lie, crossbows can get expensive too, right?
Oh, I know for a fact.
Killer.
I used to be a diehard archery guy, I used to,
Yeah.
before I tore my shoulders up, man, I was 400 arrows a day, man.
Yep.
You know, no, I can't do it no more. But you know,
Yeah, I think in the conversation of power and control, it takes time for it. And if anybody's listening, it's going to take you time to go through. If you're serious about having
absolutely,
that perfect weapon for you, ammo and caliber,
sure,
what have you not,
sure,
you have to take the time to go, okay, here's a 200 grain, here's a 180 grain, here's a 120 grain, here's ball, here's hollow, here's self-defense,
yeah,
and here's full metal jacket, right? So you go through all that, and what works for you all around,
absolutely,
all the way
absolutely,
around, that's what you stick with. That's what
sure,
you use.
absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Thing of it is, it's in today's world, more people are going out to get that concealed carry permit, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of times these folks are just like, hey, I'm brand new to guns, and I just need my cousin's brother's aunt's uncle's boyfriend's nephew said I need to get a 9 millimeter,
Yeah.
because they're the crap house lawyer and they told me that's what I need,
Yeah.
and he's got a gun, so I listened to what he told me. Okay, that's great. You got family that's into guns. That's great. Okay, first off, what are you going to use this gun for? What gun are you looking for? What have you shot? What can you control? What can you you know what because some people might like a 357 Magnum or a 38 Special, or or even something even smaller like a 25, or it's hard to find a 25 anymore, but even like a 32 or anything like that.
Yeah.
You don't see those guns very often anymore, but those are options. You know what I mean? Those are options you can
Yeah.
have a hard time finding it, but you can do it. Um, but again, what are you using it for?
Yeah.
Is this gonna be for self defense? You know, are you are you a bank teller, or are you somebody that drops off the money every night? Or what kind
What
of a
teacher?
what's the situations you got to these are all
Yeah.
things you got to put through. Okay, and
What
then
about a
again,
teacher? You know how they
and you
do. In Texas or in some schools now, if you go through a course, you can be in the classroom armed
yeah,
as a teacher. Now, I agree with that,
I do too.
right? I agree with that wholeheartedly because at some point we have to be able to take care of our kids. We got to be able to take care of our students. So I agree with that. And in a situation like that, I'm going to want something that's going to put it down
Yep, that's right.
because
And again, that comes into what I was getting ready to tell you. Train, train, train,
yeah,
train, train.
yeah,
Set up those scenarios. Go to your buddy's house out in the country, and set up a couple targets out there
hmm,
where it's like a couple silhouettes or whatever, and like one of them's a silhouette of a person, and then behind it's another silhouette of a tango or a bad guy.
yep,
So you got like two silhouettes side by profiling each other. One is somebody that's hostage, and the other one's like somebody with their head around their right over their shoulder with a gun up, like this or whatever have you. Go
right,
through those scenarios, and eventually, I mean, the more and more you practice, the more and more you train. And again, training doesn't mean that all I do is I go and send lead down range. There's also the mental aspect of it. You got to know your laws. Those
yeah,
laws are constantly, constantly, constantly changing, which
yeah,
is why I always tell people, if you really want to know these laws, if you really, really want to know these laws, is the word I can't I have a hard time. Is it reciprocity?
reciprocate.
No, not reciprocate. It's about the maps of all the laws, all the states, and what their gun laws. It's resist. Y'all know the word I'm trying to say.
Sure,
Anyway, uh, USCCA. They have that
USCCA.
on their website. You can get that, download it on your. I have it on my phone,
Hmm.
literally on my phone. So, and with my membership, I have it on speed dial. Here's the number on speed dial. That way, if anybody, if something ever happens, I can just hand my phone to my girl and say, "Here, call." as I'm being put in cuffs, because that's what's going to happen.
Sure.
It's going to happen, and I'm ready for that.
Yep.
I expect it. You know what I mean? Here's my phone. Call USCCA. Get my lawyer.
Yep.
That's it. Okay. But at the same time, they have all these training things that you can study. Again, training, training, training. You can take these trainings. You can go on their website. You can get, and it'll save all your training. Everything's on there. You
Yeah.
can get your maps for your laws. That's the biggest one. Know the laws. If you're carrying around a gun, for concealed carry, or for your self defense, or if you're a truck driver and you have one in your truck or whatever, okay, know the damn laws. If you don't know the damn laws, you don't need to be carrying that damn gun. Period.
Yeah, that's true.
End of story.
Yeah, true.
you know,
Yep,
and,
very
and
true.
if you have a question on it, again, that's why I have that on my phone. I can just real quick. Doop, 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 doop. There you go. I can flip. Oh, here it is. Okay, I was right. Okay.
Yeah.
Or oh shoot, I didn't know that. And it always is. The laws are, especially in Texas, it seems that something's always being added. So stay abreast of
Yeah.
those changes.
As more lax as
It'll
they
save you
get
a lot of
here,
heartache.
yeah, and I say lax legally, with like now you can open carry, you don't need a permit, right? You can
Well,
if you do open carry, I suggest you having a conceal. That way you're covered in the sense, right? And you're not, but
right. And the thing
you
of
know,
it is, if you're gonna carry, okay, carry for the right reason. Don't carry because
mhm.
I got big balls and I'm gonna carry me a big old gun around here because I'm cool. Because you're gonna look like a dick. I'm just letting
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Okay,
straight up.
if you're gonna carry that gun and you're gonna open carry or concealed carry, number one thing, everybody else is gonna be looking at you.
Yep, it's a
Okay,
very
everybody's gonna be looking at you.
yeah,
So carry accordingly.
it's
Carry yourself
very
professionally.
it's
Don't go out
very
there haphazard and be stupid.
weird. It's a weird feeling, right? That you have to get used
Oh,
to,
it is. It is.
because, and I go back to when we were down here for the peanut festival, right?
Right.
And I had my tack holster on, and I'm standing there next to a cop in the street, just whatever, and people were looking, and but getting used to not worrying about what people think,
Right.
and you feeling confident that you're following the law
Right.
is
Right.
very, you actually it's like the fear of dropping your motorcycle. You got to drop your motorcycle, man. Drop it.
No.
Right? But
no.
but you have to do these things to get comfortable. But if you know the law, then you have to believe in the law. You rely on the law. That way you don't worry. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, right? You go.
You're absolutely right.
If
That's why I
there's a
say
sign,
know
if
the
you're,
laws.
yeah, if you're out walking and you're carrying, and you're getting ready to go into some place, and you finally see the sign and it's not a 7 or a 6,
Or a 5 now.
or a 5 now, and it strictly says prohibited, you go back to your car and you take your stuff off.
Or you can do what I do. Don't shop there.
Or yeah, I mean, not every store. Yeah, and that's another thing too. If it's not in the window, if there's no markings in the window before you go
It has
in,
to be at the door. It has to be posted.
it has to be
It
posted.
can't be just some handwritten, typed out crap.
Nope, it's got to be
It
in red.
has to be that big white sign, and it
Yep.
has to say 30-6, 30-5, 30-6, or 30-7.
Right.
Okay.
What's the 30-5? That's new.
30-5 is because like 30 was it 30
You have 6 and 7.
30-6 is
You can't open carry.
You can't open carry. 30-7 is no concealed carry, or is it no? I'm wording that wrong. 30-5, it just prohibits guns altogether. None at all. Zero. Okay. Now 30-6, if I'm not mistaken, 30-6 says that you cannot conceal carry or open carry and then the 30-07. But there's something. God dang
So
it! Now you got me trying to reword it
nope,
properly.
I got it right here. Right.
Because of the new law. Okay, in Texas anyway,
Mhm.
30-5 means that you can't carry anything at all. Period,
So
unless you are registered. Am I correct
here's
on that?
yeah, no, I have everything up right here, right? A 30-5 is a no gun sign. No gun whatsoever. It's a pursuant to section 30.05 Penal Code Criminal Trespass, a person
Uh-huh.
may not enter this property with a firearm. It does not matter. Right?
Right. Now,
Now it
is that what I
says,
said? That's
huh?
it. No, I didn't say that. I said something
So
different.
it does say this. The sign comes from the newly enacted Firearm Carry Act of 2021. Penal Code 30.5 gives property owners a new option. This sign provides notice to exclude only those carrying without a Texas license to carry
That's what I thought. That's what I
or
said.
other recognized license or permit in places governed by the General Trespass Statute.
So basically, 30-5 is you have to have a permit to carry.
You have to have a permit, even though it says no, a person may not enter this property with a firearm.
Right. Unless they have a permit, right?
Unless they have a permit. A 30-6 is it says
concealed.
should a non-licensed, okay, so let's get the exact
Because
reading.
see, like I said, if I'm reading the sign, I know exactly what it means, but I get them confused on which ones are which. Now, if I'm reading it, I go, okay, yeah, that's what this one means.
Okay, so a 30-6, and we know this, but let's get the exact verbiage for people, right?
Mhm.
Penal Code 30-6, a person is a licensed trespass by a license holder with a concealed handgun. A person licensed under subchapter H, chapter 411, government code, handgun license law, may not enter this property with a concealed handgun.
Right.
Okay. So 6 and 7 only apply to LTC holders. In short, 30-6
Right.
sign that meets all legal requirements prohibits the concealed carry of a handgun by a licensed holder in or on the premises. A 30-7 that meets all legal requirements prohibits the open carry of a handgun by a licensed holder in premises. If both signs are posted, it means that both open and concealed handgun license are not authorized. So if it's got a 6, it has to be open. They want you to know. They want to know that you got
Right. Right.
If it's a 30-7, right?
You can't open carry. You
can't open carry. You've got to hide it.
Right. Now, here's the question.
Mhm.
Have you ever seen one or the other? They've always been tandem. They've always been 30.
They've always been tandem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tandem, and then at a liquor store, you have the 51%.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So know your laws, right? Those two numbers right there, like those three numbers right there, and 5 now, right? 5 now.
Right.
If
so now,
it's got
make
a 5,
that clear now. Make that clear.
Okay.
5 is for non-licensed people, correct?
Non-licensed people. If you don't have a concealed carry, whether it's open or concealed, if you don't have a card, you can't bring it in.
Carry.
Can't carry.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
Can't do it. If you have a concealed carry and the sign says 30-6, you need to have it open. You can't hide it.
Right.
If you have a 7, you can't.
Then it has to be hidden.
Or yeah, you have to conceal it. So
right, and if you have both, you can't carry it at all.
You carry both. You just yeah. So 5 or both. If you have 5, as long as you have a license, it don't matter open or conceal. If there's both 6 and 7, don't bring it on. If it's 6 or 7 by itself, guess what? Conceal
or not to conceal. Gotcha.
So
cool.
Yeah. So I
had that in front of me, by the way. I had it. I got my book.
And then there is a Texas blue no gun sign now.
Uh-huh.
The unlicensed possession of a weapon on the premises is a felony, maximum 10 years and a $10,000 fine. So that sign is, we see this sign outside of grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants. This sign has given more than a couple of headaches to LTC holders in the past. However, since Texas constitutional carry has gone into effect, these signs no longer have any legal meaning. So if they still have that blue no gun sign, doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter now.
They're not legal.
Not legal.
Now, you go to some little podunk town. I'm just gonna let you know now. You go to some little podunk town, they're gonna push that issue. I promise you. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do they legally? Can they legally say, "Well, I had the sign in the door and they didn't abide"? Well, they're not legal in Texas anymore.
Right.
Okay. So now criminal defense could say, "Well, that's just like the owner just saying we don't want it here, but he came in with it anyway." Okay. So you gotta kind of play both sides of the street on that one. Um, I would just to be on the safe side, because I like my freedom. I like being able to, you know, eat whenever I want. I don't if I don't want to have to walk around in an orange jumpsuit, I don't have to.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like my freedom. Okay, so if you're carrying, don't be try to be slicky boy and sneak it in, and because you're probably going to get met with opposition if they catch it, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
it's not worth it, man. It isn't. You don't want to draw that kind of attention to yourself.
It's not.
And if they see it, they might be cool and say, "Hey man, I need you to take that out to the car." Then, hey, no problem, man, no problem, whatever. But they could also be real jerks about it and say, "Hey, that sign right there, da, 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 da." So like I said,
Yeah.
be considerate. Don't conceal carry or carry open carry just because you think it makes your balls bigger or whatever, because it don't. Okay,
It don't.
it just makes you look like a dick.
Yeah. You don't.
Okay,
Hey, be discretionary on, have it in your
exactly.
vehicle.
You
Have
don't
it in
have
your
to.
vehicle.
You don't have to be flashy with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because let's be honest, if you're carrying it because you want to defend yourself, and if nobody knows you have it, you got a leg up on the competition.
Yeah. Man, I follow the rule. If I put it in the car, I'll put it in the car. If I know we're going to go somewhere, I'll put it in the
Yeah.
car. And unless we're going to be somewhere where I can actually carry it, I just leave it in the car, because if something goes down, I'll get there pretty quick. If I need to use it, go grab it. I mean, that's
Right.
just this be
Right.
smart. But if you're going to be outdoors anywhere, right? By all means, especially if you know you're going to be in a huge crowd where
Yeah, I
history
mean,
of crap has gone down. Yeah.
if you can carry with and big crowds like that, I'm a concealed guy at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I'm not going to open carry nothing.
No, yeah.
I don't want. First off, I don't want nobody to know I have it,
Right.
and second of all, I don't want nobody to know I have it and try to take it from me.
Yeah.
So.
So,
But anyway, I mean, it's 8 o'clock, brother. We got to wrap things up.
yeah,
Tonight.
man. Yeah.
It was a great conversation. I tell you what, I really would like to get more in depth with the power and control thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get really, really in depth with that. Maybe we could just maybe we could just pick like one bullet or one caliber, and just kind of go, draw a picture a little bit more clear
Sure.
about that, because I wanted to get into like felt recoil, and kind of, I don't want to get too in depth with ballistics, because I mean ballistics can blow your mind if you're
Mm-hmm.
if you're not
Oh, sure.
relatively accustomed to it. So, but I would really like to get more into that. Maybe not exactly next week, but in the future, or maybe we could do it next week. It's up whatever we want to do, but.
Sure.
I do want to say a big shout out to all my dealers that I deal for. I appreciate you guys, and I know I sent out a few emails to everybody. It's like, I know I haven't been doing much lately. I got a health issue going on. Bear with me, and everybody's been really super cool. Robbie Wheaton, Ranger Proof Gear, Dawson. I mean, Ghost Inc. Everybody, you guys are just amazing. And now we got Works holsters on top of that too, and
Yeah.
Riptide is a new one for like shooting like solvents for cleaning your guns and stuff like that, and lubes and things like that. And we also got shooter lube as well. So, guys, welcome aboard, and I appreciate you guys. It's a new step every day. Things are going to get better. I'm even willing to hold my breath on that one. 'Cause I'm just,
Yeah,
my mindset is, I'm not giving up. I gotta keep driving forward. I know
yeah,
it's been rough, and my poor family's been dealing with my jackass stupidity, and I just get cranky and moody, and I appreciate them more than they know. But huge shout out to all my fams, and huge shout out to um, all my manufacturers that I deal with. USCCA, you guys are amazing. You guys give me food for thought every time I pick up a concealed carry magazine. I'm always getting food for thought, and the training is amazing. So if you guys get a chance, go out there, check it out, and don't forget, if you want to train and you don't have a lot of money to spend on ammunition, I got you covered. Laser training systems, they work
yes,
great. They're a lot of fun too,
yeah.
and you don't have to spend a lot of money.
No, you
So,
really don't.
so,
You really don't.
so now we're going to talk about racing next weekend or next week too. What
Yeah,
you
we're
have any
gonna.
races this weekend?
Yeah, we can give a World of Outlaw update. We don't. They're not racing until the 3rd of
Okay,
August.
Roger.
But real quick shout out to my boy Landon. The Iceman is leading the points at our home
What?
track. Yes, we thought it was a fluke. It's when you're still working on the car and you're still trying to find the speed, and you're
Sure.
trying to figure out how those other guys are just so fast or whatever. You don't feel like you make any ground if you don't pay attention to standings or what have you not. However, you don't have to win a race to win a championship. And Landon's
That's a
been
fact.
consistent. Um, he's fortunately he's finished every race but one, I believe, because of a
Uh-huh.
broke axle. But it's good to see him. Good to see him up front.
Way cool.
Especially with this new setup and stuff, and hopefully. Uh, Hopefully the big guy can get back out there soon. We're waiting on this the House of Pain to finish putting this thing together. We've got pistons on order. They're a special cut, and it's however they fall in line up at Race Tech. Great
Sure.
guys at Race Tech, by the way. Amazing pistons. I mean, if believe it or not, a valve guy put a hole through one of their forged pistons and it still ran. I mean, it had a hole like that big around, and a brass. It just, so it's coming along.
Cool, cool.
Parks Engine Service in Seguin. Rick is out there doing it by himself. He's taught us a lot.
Way cool.
And then, but I can't, myself, Duchess decals, Sam Walker. If you need decals, if you need any type of merch made, she does all of our merch right now. She's great at it. She's very responsive. Quick shout out my buddy Patrick, who is from Las Cruces. He started up his new hot shot business, came into town. He had a company on his window. The company kind of did him wrong. He pulled the stickers off. But when you're doing DOT and pulling hot shot, you have to have business on the windows. So I called Sam up, and within 20 minutes, she had him squared away out there in Comfort and Bernie, and he was on the road his way. So good, big shout out to Sam. And just all those that keep watching us, and all the people that request my Facebook. There's people I don't know, but we have mutual friends through the racing community
Racing world,
that
yeah.
have listened to us. When we announce and what have you not. So we can't thank everybody enough. And real quick, I talk about Michael a lot. Mike Archuleta and the Archuleta family from back home in Las Cruces. That's my family when it comes to my origins in racing. And the number 1X, which is to me the number's on loan, because Michael doesn't use it anymore. But his son Bryce, if you get a chance, go to dirtracing.com. Watch Vado from this past weekend. Bryce is 14 years old. He just turned 14 recently, and he started 23rd in the factory stock class, or the pure stock class is what they call them over there.
Mm-hmm.
And he took the 1X from 23rd, and he won it on the last lap.
God bless him.
So,
good driving.
or last couple of laps. He led the last couple of laps. The emotion that I had from being over here, having done that before myself, and seeing him and the Archuleta family name and the 1X, his number is 1X on his car, back in the winner's circle. I couldn't tell you how proud I was of that young man. And his dad, I told Bryce to go ahead and give his pair to his dad so he can get back in the winner's circle in that sprint car, So, but the kid came out and just very smart.
Put it on him.
And he put it on him, So a big shout out to him. We're trying to talk to Michael and Bryce to see if we can get them on the podcast to kind of talk about the racing career and actually talk
way cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so some cool stuff. Got cool stuff. September 28th. I know
we got some things coming up. Some surprises and some really cool things coming up.
Yeah.
And I know we keep telling you all this. And he's like, we get a little bit here, we get a little bit there, we get a little bit here, and it's the grand scheme of things. It's going to be awesome, guys. It really is.
Yes.
So stay tuned, bear with us. It's going to get a lot of fun.
It's going to be great, and next April. Oh
Lord, yes, next April.
We're going to give it right there. Next April, and a lot of cool stuff coming up. And real quick, you figure off what you said. Nobody's funding us. We don't make any money off this, so everything that we do, we have to spend our own money on, and amongst of everything that we're doing. But every week, we are working on the next step of getting to where we want to be with things that we're doing. So we are making progress, and very soon we're going to have some cool stuff to offer everybody. But September 28th, Relief for Troops charity, slingshot ride, slinging for the vets, and then that's going to set us up for getting ready for April.
Outstanding. Hopefully we'll be able to do some stuff this fall too. When it's not quite, because Texas, if I'm not mistaken, is probably, if not 110% positive, the hottest state in the union. Okay.
Yeah.
So the fall time of the year, it might be,
mid-December,
80, 90,
That's true.
In the fall.
That's true. So, we might have 2 or 3 weeks of cold weather, and then we're ready to go racing.
Yeah, we're right back to boiling heat again. So, it might, maybe this fall we could get out and do something, and do some really cool stuff. But again, I know my buddy Mike from M&C Aquatics, he's donating a barbecue pit, a custom barbecue pit. And hopefully this time next year we'll be doing lots of fundraisers and putting some barbecue out there and making some money for these charities. Kind of we got the relief for troops, and then I try to give to the Guardian Group as much as I can, and two wonderful, just super awesome charities. How is it a bad thing helping a vet? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not.
Exactly.
Especially when it's something that can, help curb cancer things, or, keep food down, or help them with anxiety, things like that. And then the Guardian Group, that's all about human trafficking, man. It's a horrible, awful thing that's happening in our world. And, unfortunately, and it kind of chokes me up a little bit sometimes, but they're targeting children and women for this, and it's like, oh, how you're just a real tough guy and you're gonna kidnap a kid? Boy, you're a tough guy, and it's all about stupidity and money, and it's, to me, there's no kid on this planet that doesn't need uh, somebody looking over their shoulder to make sure they're
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Keep an eye on the kids around you, even if they're not your kids. Just not telling you to go over there and tell them what they can and can't do, but take 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 a moment just to kind of observe and make sure they're
Right.
okay. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, but with that, man,
Hey,
again,
real quick, Sam, we just put a shout out to you, so go back and watch it. But again, Sam, thank you for what you do for all of
yeah, thanks for
our
supporting
merch and
us,
everything
man.
like that, and thanks for helping Pat out last week. So good
Right
stuff.
on,
Glad
right
you're
on.
here.
So, again, at one time or another, almost every episode, if not every episode, I always say 988. If you're thinking about harming yourself or harming somebody else or something like that, call 988, man.
988. Yep.
You know, I've had some, and I don't want to say I felt like committing suicide because I've never felt that, but um, I've been pretty down on myself quite a few times, and if it wasn't for my boy there or my better half, um, I don't know what would happen. You know what I mean? But it's great to have a good support channel. It's good to have somebody to talk to. Don't be afraid. Gearheads and Guardians at gmail.com. Send us an email. We'll try to help you out or get you pointed in the right direction, or we'll help you out ourselves. Either or,
Mhm.
whatever we got to do to help you. You know, uh, I'm a veteran. He's a veteran. We're all battle buddies, and we. I need you to have my back just like I got your back.
Yep.
We need you in the fight. We
Absolutely.
can't win the fight without you.
That's right.
So, you know, think about that. When things get rough, and you're just bummed out, depressed, man, pick up that phone,
Pick it up.
988, option one, man. Gearheads and Guardians at gmail.com. Hey, knuckleheads, I got a problem. Help me out. If you say, hey, knuckleheads, without a doubt, we'll know exactly who you're talking
Oh
to.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and we've been through it too. We've asked for help.
We've
Listen,
been through that. We've been through it. I've asked him for help.
yep.
I've asked, just to talk to somebody,
Yep. You can't be
it
afraid
helps.
to get out of your pride a little bit. Get out of your pride a little bit. Stop making
Exactly.
excuses and be like, hey, we don't judge. There's no judgment here. I've made more
Absolutely
mistakes
not.
than Carter's got pills in a week. I'm telling you. You have to be able to go, I need a little something here. And whether it's
Yeah.
validating that you're doing something right or helping
Right.
understanding on something you're doing wrong. So
Amen.
reach out.
Amen. Just reach out. One of us, 988, option one. Somebody can help you.
Mhm.
Because, like I said, we need you in the fight, man. So I guess that's for it for the evening.
Yeah, man.
Y'all have a wonderful evening, man. Drew, it was definitely a pleasure to see you again,
Buddy,
brother.
good seeing
Always,
you.
always a pleasure to talk, man. And
Yes, great time.
remember, be safe, go fast, and shoot straight. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Have a good night.
God bless y'all. And you got to shut it off because you're the host.
What? I'm out.
Cool.